Kamala Harris have been inaugurated, and we have in the studio we have two guests who want to give views about the new development. I have Susan Mabera, is a political activist and a president of MECO. And then we have Professor Charles Choti, who's a professor of history and political science. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I know it's a new day for us. And what we wanted to give some perspective about what is your perspective about the new president, the 46th president. I will start with Professor Choti.
Thank you, Dr. Omandi, for this opportunity to share with our viewers on this very important event which has just taken place. I think this is a very important event because we have witnessed an end of an era and another era has set in, and the two seem to be very different. Actually, they are the opposite of each other, because when you see the former president was just left the town, I can say most people are excited. Most people are excited, including myself, because his leadership has been kind of very confrontational, very divisive,
yeah,
and lacking in terms of public morality and decency. He has completely left the country divided in many aspects, racially, socially, culturally. So the country is in its lowest point, especially if you remember what took place last week, the invasion of Capitol Hill and the attempt to bring violence to the most democratic institution where the lives of America's leaders were threatened. So this is a very important event which has taken place. The transition is very significant in many ways, not only to Americans actually, even to the rest of the world. Like now I received so many calls from Kenya. People, the world has been watching this event, and most people in the world actually are very, very, very happy about what has taken place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Susan, what's your take of this transition?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Omandi. I can say I'm so excited to have this. Finally, the day we have been longing for is here. And it is a very bright day, especially for immigrants in this country. And it is a bright future for the kids of this country. And more so, me as a woman, I'm more excited for this administration to recognize a woman, and today it's going to be in history of America, the first woman to be the vice president in this country. So I'm so excited that the day finally is here. And with the outgoing administration, I'm also excited because we have gone a lot of challenges, especially people of color, all immigrants.
Yeah.
We have been racially discriminated in various aspects. And from the incoming president's speech, we are hopeful that he is very much inclusive, and he has said we are one America, the America people long for. Eventually today, we are getting back to the one America. So I'm so excited for having this bright day today, me especially as a woman and a woman of color.
Thank you very much. Now, Professor, I want to come to you, being an historian and a political scientist.
Yeah.
This was a very unique transfer of power, where the outgoing president did not attend, And the outgoing president is still complaining that election was rigged. Can you tell us if there is any other incident in the history of America where transition of power has been in dispute like this one?
I think it is, this one is, or it's a unique one.
Mm.
And I think most Americans, or in history, though we have had certain instances of disputed elections, like it happened in 1876.
Okay.
Because it was too close, but actually they reached a compromise very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this one I think is different in many aspects because of the nature and the character of the outgoing president.
Okay.
Because he lies a lot. He does not believe in truth.
Yeah.
He actually created his own wall of reality.
Yeah.
which is far removed from the normal reality as we know it.
Yeah.
And this is what made the situation so bad, because some Americans, especially the rural conservative populations, were also not very highly educated. They believe what he says because he's the president of the United States of America.
Yeah.
So when he says that he was rigged, he was cheated in the elections, a large population of the Americans, especially those groups, the groups who believe in the party conservative, they are not very much exposed. They listened to him, and also the fact that he uses lies, that has complicated the situation.
Yeah.
He divided the country into groups: those who know the truth, and those who think they have the truth through the president, which was not actually the reality. So this is where the problem is. Again, very confrontational, very abusive, very undiplomatic.
Yeah.
And all of these combinations, when he says that I've been cheated, I've been rigged out.
Yeah.
But when he took all of those complaints to court, none of them went through. All of them. And they, even in Republican states like Georgia, the governor is Republican, the Secretary of State is Republican, most of the officials manning the elections are Republicans, but he says he was cheated, which is a lie. Yeah, and remember, even in the courts with the Republican judges, some were appointed by himself.
Yeah.
They were asking, where's the evidence? No evidence. So in fair judgment, even from the Department of Homeland Security, which was in charge of the elections, their report was that this was one of America's most secure elections in the history of this country. And the person saying that is an appointee of the president, of Trump.
Yeah.
Now, that one tells you that this is a person who did not believe in science. And that's why his complaints, they lacked evidence. They were not supported by empirical data.
Okay.
And that is what complicated the situation. Is very emotional, is egocentric, everything is about himself and his family.
Yeah.
And that is why you see he broke many traditions in this country. Many traditions.
Many traditions.
So that's why he doesn't want to cooperate with the new president. He does not even acknowledge that Biden won the elections. No congratulations, no invitation. Normally, the incoming president is invited by the outgoing president for orientation, and even some greetings in the White House. None of that happened. So this is a very unique and a strange situation, which has exposed actually America's democracy, and internationally the country's wounded. But we hope that the incoming president, who seems very mature, very responsible, very humane, very knowledgeable in matters to do with governance, may take time to repair those kind of situations. But let me quickly comment on what Susan said about the advantages or the good things about the incoming leadership, especially on Kamala Harris. She's not only the first woman to be the vice president of America, but the first African-American woman and the first Asian woman. So she has three firsts: the first American woman, the first African-American, the first Asian. This one is is historical and very significant because it has lessons to young people, especially young girls. The message is anybody in America, regardless of gender, can dream and aspire to be anything you want to be in this country. That is something that we must take note of, and it's a good thing.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, Susan, now coming to you, the country is so divided right now. What is your take from Biden's speech? Do you think he's capable of uniting this country without this division?
That's a very good question, Dr. Mandi. From the incoming president's speech, he narrowed it down and saying, this is the time we are healing, and we all be gonna be as one.
Yeah.
From his human, and the way we have seen, even the way he has appointed, he's trying to include everybody. So the country is gonna, from the incoming president, I hope and I believe in his words, this American country is gonna be one again as it used to be before. He even tackled about the neighborhood, which are our neighbors. They were already dismantled. He said, we're gonna mend those fences. So he's somebody who wants to be include everybody and to have America have good relationship with other countries as it used to be before the outgoing president got into power. So with even his experience, Biden is gonna make America, the one we long for, and we have longed for a long time, for the past 4 years.
Okay.
Also, let me add on what Susan has said on that topic. John Biden he has a long experience in politics. He became a senator when he was 29 years old, a young boy.
Yeah.
And he has also, other than political experience, his personal life he has faced many challenges. He lost his wife and daughter on a road accident. And recently, his firstborn son, who was his heir apparent actually, and very promising, also passed out of cancer. So this is a very humble person. He's humble, he's very diplomatic, and most importantly, him and his Democratic Party, their platform appreciates the multiculturalism of this country.
Yeah.
Okay.
They embrace that. Unlike the outgoing regime, he appreciates the minorities. And if you can look at the cabinet, the appointments he has made, it's a very inclusive government.
Yeah.
It brings in everyone, Latinos, African Americans, Asians, Native Americans, white people. It's the face of this country. So that it gives him an advantage, and also he's a friend to most Congress, especially senior Congress leaders, senators in both sides, Republican, Democrats.
Yeah.
And if you look at this inauguration, you saw some prominent Republicans there. Actually, the vice president of to Trump, Mike Pence, was in attendance. The former majority leader, Senate Majority Leader McConnell, was in attendance. Even I was surprised to see the senator from Texas, Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
Yeah, who voted against the the confirmation of Biden as president. Anyway, what he has the potential. He has the potential to unite America once more and make this country great again.
Yeah. Oh, do you want him to continue to fuata nyayo of
But in the true sense, not the sense of Trump, the way Trump used to say, make America great again, that was a racist added undertones, because you know, according to Trump, when he took over from Obama, according to him, Obama had a negative impact on America. He according to Trump. So when he came to make America great again, meaning that Obama had made America weak.
Yeah.
That was the problem with the Trump's slogan of "Make America" or MAGA, "Make America Great Again." But from West, I see it. I think in repairing the damages Trump has caused, Biden is practically going to make America, to restore America's national and international prestige and status.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that contribution. You know, Trump was talking about making America great again because he was telling the people days when Americans, even if they did not finish high school, they would get a factory, go work there and get experience and become a mechanic or something in the industry and would make a living. But with the change of technology, most of those jobs were outsourced to China and the other developing countries. So he had promised to bring those jobs back in. And which jobs may not come back? How can Joe Biden turn that? Because some of those people who are bitter is because they wanted those factory jobs back in the United States of America. What would you expect Joe Biden to do about those bitter people?
I think in most cases, America believes in an open market economy, a free market economy, where you allow market forces to direct the nature of how you manage business. But somehow, there are certain key sectors of the economy where the government usually intervenes to protect the vulnerable, their business people, to protect, like farmers. You know, they subsidize their farmers a lot. Sometimes if farmers, their crops are not good or the harvest is not good, sometimes they give them grants. They even, if there's no market, they even buy, the government buys directly from farmers to make sure that the farmers have the incentives and the capital to make sure that they keep on producing in and out in every season. So I think Biden, given his experience and given the Democratic Party economic platform and the way the Democratic Party is more internationally well connected, and it has close links to many countries, like the European countries. They are very well, they relate very well, especially when you have Biden in the White House. And the only way you can manage the China and the other rogue countries, which sometimes don't follow the rules of the game, is to handle, to confront them in a collective manner with the allies, with America's other allies, especially European countries.
Okay.
Yeah, that one you can easily control the way international trade is conducted. And I think Biden has more capability and the capacity to ensure that any trade that is going to continue, economic relations with China and the other countries, is conducted in a way for the benefit of both the countries, not for maybe the disadvantage of the country. I have confidence in Biden and his government than this one, which has just left. Yeah.
Okay, Susan, now you know that Trump had made many serious bad policies and through using his executive powers. what would you wish by his first day in office? Let's say tomorrow, because today is a busy day. What would you expect him to do?
Okay, I know in America here, everybody has seen, especially what the policies which the outcoming president administration did with immigration. Okay. The first thing I would like to have our incoming administration look at is the policies dealing with immigration in this country.
Okay.
Also, you know, with what I can comment on the previous one about how these jobs can come back through Biden. It's you know, when the president, you know, is the overlord of the country. So some of these jobs, some of the companies, international companies, left America because of the president we had in place. So now with Biden, remember, Biden spoke in his speech and said it does not matter. It's so welcoming your party. So Biden is inclusive of everybody, the Democrats, that is his party, and the Republican. They're gonna work together, and I have the confidence like all the jobs will be here in America as they were before, and all these policies which Trump tampered because he never wanted to see immigrants in this country. He said we have come to take their jobs. Immigrants, he used very abusive, verbally abusive words towards immigrants. So that prompted him to have policies, especially the immigration policies, be changed so that immigrants can be shipped back to where they came from. I could expect the incoming administration to first look at the immigration policy.
Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, on top of that, I think also Biden is likely, besides what Susan says, I think one of the executive orders is going to address immigration situation, especially this idea of restricting the people from certain countries, especially Muslim countries. You know, some countries were shortlisted, and they can, yeah. So I think Biden is likely tomorrow, even not tonight.
Yeah,
is likely to remove that. And there is also this the exit of America from the Paris Global Warming Act treaty. That one, he will do it immediately. I think Biden is going back to the Paris treaty, which addresses the issue of global warming, environmental issues. Those are the kind of things I think is going to address, among others. Yeah. And I think he's likely to improve America's relations with other countries, especially European countries and the European Union in particular.
Okay. Yeah, like now, you know, he used this pandemic to ban those people who were migrating to the US, like having green card or were filed by a family to come. It was banned up to December 31st. And even after when he lost the election on the December 31st, then he extended it to March 31st, making some of those visas expire. Don't you think that's one of the things Biden needs to fix immediately?
Yeah. You know, when some of these issues, they are very detailed. And I suspect, and you know, there's this case of children being separated from parents along the Mexico-USA border, even the building of the border anyway. The immigration is a big package. It's a big package. Yeah. When the Democrats are going to address that issue, I think it will be very comprehensive. It will incorporate all of these issues we are talking about, including the green card, which Trump has been wanting to eliminate. So, which I think now the Democrats are going to reinstate and even empower it, actually, and even make it permanent. So I think Biden is going to bring many more changes. And as we have said, it makes America more humane and sensitive to other people, including the international community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, given that we have, you know, there are many people who have tried, like Hillary Clinton came close to be the first woman president, and we thought we had already broken that ceiling. But now that Kamala Harris has come this far, after over 250 years of independence, do we see a path that in the near future, America will have a woman president? Susan?
Yes, Doctor. I think where we are heading now, since we have had the first woman as the vice president, now is opening avenues. In future, we're gonna have a woman as the president of America.
Okay.
I believe in that, and it's gonna happen. Since we have now one woman as the vice president, this is a pathway to having a woman as the president.
Okay, good. Doctor, you have to say something?
I think I agree with the Susan. You know, these things, it's like Clinton, Hillary Clinton used it to hit that the ceiling, the ceiling has to be broken.
Yeah.
I think what happened today is good news to women.
Yeah.
And even the women movement, the feminist movement. It's a good achievement, and I think this is how you attain your goals or objectives, step by step.
Yeah.
And it's about mindset. It's about mindset. It's about the consciousness. So the fact that a vice president, a female vice president, is in office now, and you know they got so many votes.
Yeah.
They were ahead of Trump, the 80-something million votes.
Yeah.
So it's a good sign. We don't say that it is a must that Kamala may end up becoming president, but she has a good chance. She has a chance because given Biden, I'm not saying that Biden may not go far in terms of even a second term. But there's a possibility that Biden may even opt out after first term and say and support Kamala, given Biden is age. Yeah. But also, if they perform well, if the administration does well, Kamala, you know, he has an upper hand in getting the Democratic ticket nomination ticket in the next election, whether it comes after first term. Or if they win second term together again at the end of their second term, she has an upper hand in getting the Democratic ticket. So she stands a better chance, but that again will depend on how they perform in terms of how the economy will fare, how Americans will give their assessment and evaluate them. So yeah.
Okay. Now, internationally, you know, when Trump was a sitting president, but he was the one crying for that the election has been rigged. This is quite unheard of in African countries, whereby a sitting president is the one who determines, he controls even the director commission. That's why even people were asking me, can a president cry that the election has been, can't he talk to the director commission to change things for him? He went even to the courts, even the judges he appointed. Still, they told him, you don't have a case. What example can some countries like our country, like Kenya, and the recent one, Uganda, can learn from this?
Another person, I have a commentator who was saying that if Trump was an African president, he wouldn't have gone out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no way he was going to leave office.
Yeah.
Because when you see his mentality, it's a mentality of a leader, of most leaders in developing countries, especially African presidents. Look at what happens in Uganda. Museveni, I think, got his 60th term. And whether Ugandans like it or not, it's like the outcome is no. The outcome is
No, they didn't even count the votes.
They don't have to. Even in Tanzania, the recent elections. Yeah, the outcome was questionable.
Yeah.
Kenya has never held a fair, free election. And that's why in the past we have been engaged in this post-election violence.
Yeah.
It's because the counting of votes usually is never accurate.
It's never accurate.
And yeah, people like Raila, they have contested. At one point, people thought Raila won. There's a time he won actually, but you couldn't be allowed to access our White House, our Nairobi State House. So Africa is a different case. Like Uganda now, Museveni controls the Electoral Commission. Museveni controls public resources.
Yeah.
Like, look at his opponents. When you run for president in Uganda and you lose, you have nothing. You are just left. You can't be a member of parliament. You have no job, government job. So that's how he kills them. By the time, if you are, my friend, you are out of office. You are at home. You wait until 5 years again. You come to fight the president who is there. He has public resources. He's incumbent. Even if he doesn't rig the elections, how can you? And those countries, the infrastructure is very poor. The road system is very poor. And you are using roads while Museveni is using helicopters, government helicopters, to access the most remote places. He has the resources to give people, handouts to give people. You don't have that. Yeah, Museveni. I was seeing somebody was analyzing what Museveni owns in Uganda in terms of investments. Museveni and his family. They almost own a quarter of Kampala.
Yeah.
In terms of housing, tourism, everything. Yeah, how do you, in a democratic situation, Africa is quite far. They're very far behind.
Yeah, listen, what is your?
Okay, I can say in Africa, most of the African countries, the sitting presidents, they don't want to give office. They don't want to let others lead.
Yeah.
Like I can say an example of 2007. I will confidently say Mr. Raila Odinga won the election in Kenya, but because they did not want Raila, they wanted the one they wanted. That is why we had a lot of people die from post-election. Let's see the case of Museveni in Uganda. They just passed this week. How can somebody sit in an office for over 30 years? Does it mean you are the only one? You're gonna die in the office. You are the only one in that country who can live. What are we doing with the generations behind? When the president sits in an office over 30 years, they don't want anybody else to read. Why do we have the generations there?
Yeah.
What legacy do you leave behind when the people say you do not want to leave office because you all the time you are controlling the electoral commission because you wanted to be in the office? I think from what has conspired today, some of our African leaders need to take this in and see, yes, we don't have to be sitting in the offices as long as we want. The people decide. Like America, people decided. And today we have the new administration. So let's the people in African countries imitate this so that we can have countries having free and fair elections where nobody's gonna die.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, actually, what can Biden do? Because Ugandans are crying that the reason why Museveni is doing that, he has been a darling of the West, more especially US. He gets more than 900 million every year for training and equip the military. He has all the resources which is given from United States of America. And that is why you cannot touch him. What should Biden do about this foreign policy to the aid they are giving to Uganda?
I think that's a good question. What happens when countries interact with others? Normally, their priorities are their own interests. Yeah. When America invests internationally, they do so to advance their national interests. Now, especially in East Africa, Uganda and Kenya, those are the countries they use them as bases from where they fight international terrorism. Therefore, the militarily they make sure that those countries are well secured.
Okay.
They are stable. And they tend to be kind
To them.
to those leaders there, the incumbents there.
Yeah.
That's why Kenya enjoys some special relations with the US, even Uganda. Yeah, but actually, forget Trump was not interested in promoting democracy. Did you hear any time Trump saying that, we want America stands for these values, democratic values, and we want to see them all over the world? Never. Even Trump never even talked about human rights.
No.
But Democrats do so. Obama and Clinton, those were the core values of their international relations, international policy.
Okay.
So we expect Biden to be more tough on those African leaders who violate the fundamentals of humanity, like violating human rights. Those who don't promote democracy, like Uganda, Tanzania, yeah, and even Kenya is struggling. Currently, Kenya's political situation and the economy is quite down. So Africa faces many challenges, but we need countries from the Western world to hold those leaders accountable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have come to the end of our session. It is nice talking to you. We hope to continue this in the future, and we wish the new president good life. And thanks, Susan and Charles.